Alright, one more quick update on these horns. I wasn't going to do a video right now, but came across a problem and, well, I just figured it out. It's actually kind of sneaky. So, I got these, the motors, these are called, fully disassembled last night. And so I started working on removing the rust, so I can put the rust converter on the parts and so on. And so these are the diaphragms. These are what make all that racket. Honky honk. Now, I had marketing these parts when I took them apart because they appeared to be all identical. Come to find out, one of these diaphragms is actually just the tiniest little bit smidgetest thicker than the other. This one is just a hair thinner than this one. Now, of course, by the time I figured this out, I didn't mark which was which. And it makes a big difference. When you're adjusting the pitch of these horns, just a half turn of the adjuster nut makes a very significant change in the tone. So putting the wrong diaphragm on the wrong horn would make a big difference and could maybe damage a diaphragm. So I got to thinking, I was like, well, which one goes to which? And so there's two trains of thought. The thinner one, you would think would go with the higher pitched horn because it's a thinner material, so it would naturally sound higher pitched. And you think the thicker one goes to the lower tone because it's, you know, a bigger piece of metal. The other train of thought was because the lower toned horn has to fluctuate, the diaphragm has to fluctuate a further distance back and forth. You'd want a more flexible diaphragm versus a more rigid one for the higher pitch, which would be a much shorter deviation back and forth. So I wasn't really too sure, and I was leaning more towards the thinner one being a higher pitch. And, well, the good news was I had not cleaned these horns yet, and I knew that this rusty one was my my low-pitched horn. I knew that from the get-go. And so, unfortunately, I had already sanded all the rust off of these. And I say that's a bad thing because when you take stuff apart that's been together for a while, you can sort of see how it was sitting together. And because I mean, these things haven't been taken apart in 70 years. So I was like, daggone it, I can't figure out where these went. And then I noticed a very subtle change other than the thickness of the diaphragms, and that's this thicker diaphragm only has two little half-moon cutouts right here and right there. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. The higher pitch, or the thinner diaphragm. So then I got to looking. I was like, all right, let's come over here. Remember how I said, you know, when stuff's been together for 70 years, it's going to tell you some clues. Well, this one, you know, both of these have two half-moon cutouts. And notice up here, there's no markings. So down here we have the two half-moon cutouts, and then look at this. Very slight little marks of a half-moon, which means, remember I said this is a lower pitch, that the lower pitched horn actually gets the thinner diaphragm, because when you put it in there, just so, here, let me get it lined up. Alright, so you can see those little divots fit right inside the rust spots. So, yep, and you come over here, there's no markings up there. So, I was leaning the other way around, but then I looked at this and I was like, wait a second. So, yeah, I guess that's why, well, for one, why you're supposed to mark parts before you take them apart. And two, it helps to look close afterwards if you do mess up. So, thank goodness I caught that before I messed anything up, because I'd imagine it not only sound weird, but could potentially damage a diaphragm if I switched them around for a different application, but who knows. So, we got it figured out at least.